Beke we bring you Men Up with Tshidi Lethwane live on the Mzansi Urban Facebook page, YouTube channel, and yeah, wherever you can try get us. If you don't get us live, you are welcome to catch up with us anywhere on your favorite podcast channels, podcast stations, podcast platforms, whatever podcast you are on. And yes, we still bring you Monday Conversations with Men, our favorite men crush, and it is Conversations with Tshidi, of course. Here on Men Up, we speak to the men. We speak to community builders. We speak to those men that say, not under my watch, and we speak to those men that continue making a difference wherever they are and wherever they can. Well, this evening is no different. We bring you, he's a friend of Men Up. Not only is he a friend of Tshidi's, but he's a friend of Men Up. He's been here a couple of times, so he clearly likes the pain of being here. So without any further delays, help us give another warm welcome to Siseko. Molo mhlobo wami.
Molo Lethwane kunjani?
Ndiphilile wena unjani?
Hayi phila khonto man, nice to see you. Hey, it's been a minute.
It's been a while. You know, this COVID must just end.
Hey, sikwazi ukuhlangana futhi and have the fun we used to, the lunches, the everything, you know.
Listen, si life. Plus ke ngoku sesihamba ngama passport. So I take it you have your passport ready, right?
Not yet. I've set up for one.
Ndizakubetha ke ngoku. So za vaccinate nama Pokemons. Oh wow. Well, yeah, that was just us breaking the ice. This week, before I get into it, introduce yourself again, Bato.
Good evening, good people. So, Kamala Musisego Makayana. I'm based out in the west of Joburg, you know, and I have a daughter. She's a teenager now. So, hey, man, hey. It becomes interesting in the house. Yeah, no, it becomes interesting sometimes. I'm a mood. I actually, wow. Sometimes it's fun. But yeah, you know, it's we take the punches and the kicks and everything. We learn, we continue, you know. So yeah, she's 15 years old. She just started high school, so that's another thing, you know. And I see she's becoming. I'm going too much. Like she's becoming self-conscious these days.
Yes,
you know, pimples, and it's actually quite interesting just observing her from a distance, you know. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Yeah.
Well, very long and lots of and many changes since the last time we spoke. It wasn't in high school when we spoke.
Yeah, no, she was still a primary schooler back then.
Yeah, okay. So interesting that today, so we're talking something different today. We're speaking the joys of being a deputy parent, the joys, the pain, the anas, the achus, being a deputy parent. So please help us get into it. What is a deputy parent for those that have no idea what being a deputy parent is? What is a deputy parent?
Hey, and husband, you know, there's multiple views to it, you know. I mean, you could, how can I put it? Deputy parent, it's like a can I call it a sub parent or a secondary parent? You know,
a vice parent.
Yes, you know, and it could be viewed in terms of it can be viewed in terms of co-parenting, can be viewed in terms of step parenting as well. You know, so it's a tricky one, but it's an enjoyable one as well, you know, and especially depending on your perception of it. If you're gonna look at it as, especially from a step parenting perspective, you know, if you're gonna look at it as her child, not my child, it's gonna get tricky. But if you just take it, you know, as umtanako, and you and your partner, you know, those conversations need to happen. They are difficult, they are tricky, but they need to happen. You know, this is how I discipline and all those things, and you know, all those types of things. This is how I do things. Are you okay with it, etc., etc. So it's a tough one. It's a very, very tough one. But done correctly, it's just as enjoyable as biological parenting.
Okay, you took a different route. There's one specific one that I was looking forward to, and that is being the firstborn child, which automatically.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Which automatically
no, that's another tough one, serious.
That's the one I want. That's the one we are dealing with today.
You know, it comes with such responsibility, you know, it comes with so much responsibility, because ultimately, and I speak from my personal experiences, there was a time when we struggled. Okay? I mean, when I first started working, it wasn't the best of times at home, because my parents had separated a couple of years earlier, and I'd seen my mother struggle for a good couple of years. You know, I tried bamba here and there, and my younger sisters were still in school back then, you understand? And I tried to hold a piece job at the time, but they weren't enough. And then when I got the job that I'm still at now, you know, it kind of helped a lot. And I remember I went to my mother and I said, look, I can see the issues, you know, and she said to me, no, you know, she said to me, no, I'll take care of things. We're not just set yourself up, you know, but being the person that I am, you know, and also being the only man in the house, you understand? It was me, my mother, and my sisters. I felt it incumbent upon me to do something, you understand? Because my sisters were still in school, and if my mother was struggling at that point, what would it mean for her when second born left school and had to go to varsity, and last born, you know? I was thinking along those lines. It's a very tough one, because you assume sometimes, you know, there are families where you are given that responsibility, and then sometimes you assume that responsibility by just observing the situation with no, but I can't now go and have fun in my platform. You know, it gets very tough, it gets very daunting, but I think it also has to do with your end goal ultimately. Yeah. You know, if you have an end goal, look, if I can at least help my mom to put my one sister through school, I can look sevens, and then she can help. You know, those types of things. You know, it helps ease the emotional burden as well, because it gets very emotional, or it gets very heavy when you see your friends going out and have fun and you can't, because, you know, you've got these commitments. And yeah.
Hey, it's still a touchy one. The way you went in, like you were there, like are you sure you want to take me there?
It gets touchy when at Tshidi, because ultimately, you know, we don't put ourselves in these situations. You understand? You get thrust, or you end up in this situation, and you have to make decisions. Do you now so sevens that you pack your things and and you know, and or do you stay around and help, you know, help through those tough times? Because ultimately it's also a view by sticking around and helping. Yes, maybe from a experiencing life perspective, yes, from a financial perspective, it's a burden, but it's also an investment into my siblings. You understand? I'm investing, because if I don't invest in them, who will? You understand? It's those types of things and those types of thinkings, and it leads to that conversation around black tax. And I'm very touchy around that topic, because
all right,
not a problem. Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, it's still a touchy one. You know, I get emotional sometimes when I think back.
More reasons for you to come back. You'll come back when we talk black tax. I like how you introduced us in, like, when you shared your family. It was your mom, then you and your sisters, and how you took it upon yourself to take on the responsibility of a deputy parent. Who is Lungus Ngam right now? Ngam Kinam. Yes, you know? So I want to put it in how would you say, because I'm assuming you were young at that time, like when you get your first job, you are young. what role or how does that impact on you personally? Hore, you were forced to grow up earlier than expected. You were forced to take on adult responsibility earlier than you would have personally wanted. But unfortunately, we don't choose the families we are born into. We don't choose the situations that we find ourselves in. How would you say that affected angithi yazi stage lesi ekumele ube first paycheck ube rough, like, you know, go out, enjoy. Ndiyasebenza ke ngoku, I've been wanting to go out and blow my money, but now suddenly you are faced with this thing yokuthi, oh no, I've got my younger siblings that I need to take care of, or oh no, I need to help my mother with this. I know for me personally, Peter the sacrificial lamb, you know, when my younger brother started varsity, I'm the girl, he's the guy, and he's starting university, you know, and I know the pressures of varsity life. Here you are, fresh out of high school, you are 18, there's the social standards, there's the expectations, turn to really nice clothes, turn to really nice phone and whatever. And this is when we started at FNB. And I remember making that decision to say, because I didn't get that opportunity to go to full-time varsity, or I had to drop out for whatever reasons, I'm going to make sure that his stay there is enjoyable. And I remember Kibula an account, you know, a Truett's account at the time, I remember. And Flora Park. I went there, Kabula, an account, and I remember how I even went all out even for his matric dance, because I was working when I go matric, and I went out and I bought him clothes, you know, because he's a man, and that thing he must show up as a man, and he must show up into the circle, you know, as Kaba, you know how you feel like you don't fit in because hawa parashap or whatever social ills you're going through. And I remember Aleko Varsity, I think the first phone in Ekimut was a D900. You remember that Samsung that slide? Yeah. And then a few months later, I'm like, this boy is in varsity. D500 to D900. And I remember for his birthday, getting him his first iPhone, you know. And this was me, kill a parent when I'm not a parent, you know, because my dad at the time was taking care of the fees and making sure Regile Konplung or whatever. And I thought to myself, I can't let my brother go through tertiary, because it also affects your esteem and how you relate with other people, you know, because when you feel like you don't fit in. So I took it upon I promoted myself by taking on those responsibilities. So how would you say, in a way, it affected you, Hore? You uzincintshe certain things, you know, you can't live a certain lifestyle, you can't live a certain social lifestyle because now you've got younger siblings that you need to take care of. Phew, that was a lot.
It was. You know, it did affect me a hell of a lot when at Tshidi, because now when you want to do things, you need to consider, okay, sharp, if I'm dating Tshidi, can I afford to go and spend and blow 700 rand not Tshidi, you understand, on a date? Whereas I'm gonna get back home and I may potentially find that maybe there's not enough food, you understand, or maybe they bashotang something or you know, and those things as well. It forces you to think outside of the now, you know. It forces you to start thinking long term. I remember there was a time when I started working, you know, and the budget was still a bit small, and whenever I'd want to buy a KFC, I remember one time I was sitting in a taxi and I'm thinking to myself, I've got 20 bucks. I can't remember how much Streetwise 2 was at the time.
I think 9.50 that time.
You know, and I'm thinking to myself, in Khali KFC. But the thing is, I could get home and find that there's no bread. You understand? I would be okay after having my KFC. But how am I going to feel when I get home? There's no bread. And my sisters are there, they're hungry. And my mother is there, she's hungry now. You know, you understand? How am I going to feel? So those were my constant thoughts. Before going out to spend, how, like, let me at least get home and see what is the bread. You know, if there's bread, maybe I can add another loaf, so that if I know that I'm going to spend this 50 rand, I'm not spending it with there's at least that's something, you know. And it affects the dating and the joling as well, because now, because you have this responsibility, you cannot go out and just blow money for fun, you know, and have all that fun with the girls, and it made you a guy who is not sort of wanted, or like now sometimes, because I know
pandemic.
You understand, with pandemic, and it's not necessarily that you don't want to, you know, do nice things for your girl. It's just the responsibility that you have. And I think some people at the time, out of their own personal situations, they didn't understand these things that we're going through, you know. When you say, no, I'm helping out at home, they're like, but why? Your mother's there, you know, your father's still alive. Like, why are you giving yourself that responsibility? And at that point, I'd be like, hey, okay, sharp, you know what? Rather, let's I
don't want to explain myself.
Yes, and if I explain to you this is my situation and you want to continue with me, then there's somewhere along the line, I don't know, people forget, or you know, they try to bring you back to that other side. And when you stubborn, they're like, hey, and these are all the effects. These are all the effects of taking on that additional responsibility. Looking back, you know, sometimes I sit and I look back and I ask myself, could I have done it any differently? You know, and now that I have the benefit of hindsight, I would still have done it the same. I would still have assumed that deputy parent responsibility, because ultimately for me, right, I am my brother's keeper, I am my sister's keeper. And if I cannot, or I am not prepared to do for them, who then is supposed to do for them? You understand? They're supposed to see from me, this is how we do as a family, especially as a firstborn. This is how we do. You know, we see like we cover for each other. You understand? And it's
you know.
Yes, you know, we don't expose our backside. You know, because ultimately is I protect them. It's an investment, you know.
Yeah.
I invest into their future. I help with the fees or whatever through tertiary, right? And I help my mom with the other sister as well, wherever. And the nice thing though about my mom was she also didn't just put the burden on me, because now I assumed and I said, here, I'm available, you know. She would come to me when she needed the help and say, hey, listen, I'm struggling here and here and here. Are you able to assist me? And I would say, okay, and like you, I vowed to myself that I didn't get the chance to go to varsity, but where necessary, if need be, right, I'll sacrifice everything so that my sisters can go through that. If it means I need to take out loans and do all those things, then I'll do that. As long as they get the education, me, I'll see myself after. You understand?
Let's not start with the loans.
You know, and you know, that's how I carried things through. I didn't also, and you know, funny, I was having a chat with my sisters the other day, and they were telling me, there were times in that period when I came across as overbearing. You know, I came across as overbearing, you know, that breadwinner type mentality, and to me, it didn't come across that
breadwinner. How are you frying 6 eggs when I'm buying and I only eat 2?
You understand? And there were those fights. There were those fights, because I remember I used to leave home. At like 5 o'clock. I'm gone to work. I'm at work at like 5:30, 6, and I'm coming back at like 10, 11. In my mind, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm working hard so I can get decent increase, so I can help, you know, so I can have more capacity to help, you know. And when you get back home about 10, 11, sometimes I want badlile and or sometimes they didn't feel like cooking. Now you're like, but guys, now I must start from scratch and peg, and we am 17. You know,
breadwinner.
You understand? So those fights came up now and then, you know, but I think my mom did well to manage those things. Okay, fine. Maybe here we are at fault or whatever. You know, the good thing around that is we sat and we talked. we had those difficult conversations. It wasn't nice sometimes, even for me, and they would tell me, but you're coming across as overbearing. Now you want us to do what you want us to do because you are now the one that's buying the groceries and you are now the one that's doing that and all of those things. And it also kept me in check. It prevented me from getting arrogant, because I think there is a potential to get arrogant once you start helping in that way, when you're providing in that way. There is a potential to get arrogant as a person. No, but I'm buying food. Why must I clean? Or why must I do this? You understand? So it also, yes, and it helped me. It helped keep me in check. It reminded me, Uguti, look, I'm still my mother's son. You understand? Even though I'm playing a sort of a husband role to her, you understand? And even though I'm still playing like a father role to my sisters, I'm still their brother ultimately. And they are just as accountable and responsible. They have every right to tell me when I'm stepping out of line. So yeah, man, it's been a rough ride.
You touched on so many things there, and like, yeah, I think for me, just made me realize how far we've come, looking back at how things were then. Not that now they're perfect, but they're much better. Things are looking up now. And I think I look at my brother and I see the young, responsible man that he is and how far he's come. And I'm like, wow, wow, it is what it is now. And even if it was by just this little, you played your part. And because of that sacrifice, they are the responsible young ladies that they are, and now they are able to stand on their own and live life and do the things that they want to do, because I feel that head start, or I feel that, that chance in life, that opportunity to say, listen, life can get messy, but not under my watch. Life can get messy, but for as long as I can help, I'll help give you a different head start. And I think you also touched on the different relationship dynamics that could pan out because of the role that now. So you're making it difficult for me to ask questions but I think now my next question would be, how would you say playing that deputy parent role at such a young age has helped mold you into becoming the person that you are today? What lessons or what character building things did you get out of it? How did it help you become the Siseko that you are today? Would you say it played a role into molding you become the person that you are today?
It did. It helped me immensely, And initially, I didn't see the benefits, you understand? But as I grow older and I'm in relationships, I start seeing the benefits of the groundwork that started then. Like, number one, in a relationship today, I'm able to sit down and have that communication and be able to take the criticism, you understand? And yeah, sometimes it's from criticism and you take it personally, but you are able to take it with a pinch of salt.
Maybe it's a constructive criticism.
And those times when I had to take criticism when I was the breadwinner, I think those were the critical times, because I was being shown and I was being told and I was being taught that as much as you are providing and we appreciate, it doesn't make you better than us as the other two children in this household. You understand? You are still a child. We can still call you out for your wrongs. You understand? We are still your sisters and we can still tell you where you're going wrong and all of those things. And my mother, from her part, was saying, as much as maybe you are playing a side husband role or whatever, you are still my son. And I'm still going to tell you, you understand? I'm still going to tell you where you go wrong. And we are like, I'm getting down now,
these 4 walls here.
Exactly. And these are my rules. And that's another thing, because when you start working, now you start you understand? But the rules are the rules. When you're you must overstep. You understand? You must overstep the rules up. And those are the things that help me, because today in a relationship, when somebody says, I need to talk, You understand? I don't take it personal.
I don't anxiety of.
I don't have an anxiety. You understand? And also when we start talking, you are able to listen because you are used to that, you know. And it helped in a way. It built me in terms of a character. Who am I? Outside of the money that I'm providing, like Kaya, outside of all these assistance that I'm giving to my mom, my sisters, who am I? Am I able to stand outside of that and still be Usisego Makayana, you know? And with this money, is it changing me? And if it's changing me, is it changing me for the better? Is it changing me for the worse? And sometimes, you know, when you're still young, 23, 24, those things you don't think about. It may hit you while you're lying in bed one day, and then you're like, Aswa, you know. You know, but as you grow older and you know you start seeing the world differently, now all of these things start coming back and you start replaying some of the situations with, okay, here in this instance, here's the lesson that I was supposed to learn. Okay, I missed it then, but I see it now. You understand? And all of these things, it teaches you to be you, you know. Even like when your friends are saying, hey, I say guy, you look at your budget, hey, I can't, you know. Sorry guys, I can't because of 1, 2, 3. It teaches you to be yourself and to be resolute in the decisions that you make, you know, and all of those things. And I always say, you know, the right decisions are always the most difficult ones to make.
The hardest.
You understand? Yes, they're always the hardest decisions to make. The easy decisions when you're still young and everything, regardless of whether you're helping, is to go with the flow. But you have to take stock, you have to take a step back and be like, actually, do I really have to go there? You understand? Is difficult because now you're going against the popular narrative.
Yeah, popular opinion.
Yes.
Yo. Like it's moments like this where you get to reflect. Hore, was that really me? Did I really do that? Or did I really go through that? And yet here I am still standing, you know? Yeah, it's, yeah, Kimo, lamp here. Yeah, like, wow. And yo, to the deputy parents out there, what would be your message to someone who's in a similar situation? Maybe this time you took on the role voluntarily. Somebody who finds themselves in that situation because havana choice, like they were put in that situation and they feel like they are weighed down, they're overwhelmed, and they feel like they're not coping and they're crying out for help. What would be your message to that person? Kondelela, or what is it that you would say to that person to kind of make them feel better about the situation or handle it better? I know this is a difficult question, but
it is.
We are here to help.
I'm actually trying to find the words, you know. And
while you're thinking, let me try and help maybe. So I think for me, I would say trust yourself in that time, trust yourself in that process, and trust yourself that you'll see yourself through. Or at the end of the day, the results are fulfilling. At the end of the day, and at the end of the day, you will look at yourself and pat yourself on the back and say, well done, you did well. And if you feel like you're not doing the right thing, you are doing well. This is from me to you, fellow deputy parent, to say you are doing well. Keep it up. The results will far outweigh the challenges that you're going through right now. Trust yourself, trust the process, and trust the lesson. There's so many lessons to be learned, as Gift has said, as Siseko has said. Yeah, so that's me. That's my 2 cents worth. So what's
you know, I'm thinking of something, you know. There's a song that Babyface that Simple Days. You know, in that song he says, Mama told me that everybody's got to struggle sometime, you know. All of us go through that time of struggle, and you know, it's a building phase, and sometimes it seems unfair and sometimes it's very tough. You know, it pushes you down to your knees. It pushes you to a point where you feel like you want to cry and burst out. But it is through that, you know, that your character is forged. It is through that, you know, you as an individual are then put together. Uyabunjwa, ngesixhosa, uyabunjwa, to be a resolute.
Like you are being molded.
Yes, you know, to be the person that you're going to be in the future. And it's very tough, you know. I don't have the right words to tell people, but all I can say is, like you said, you know, trust yourself. You understand? Believe in yourself. I think belief is a very strong thing. So, you know, so there's a difference between thinking and believing. You know, believing yourself in the fact that you're going to achieve what it is you want to achieve. You're going to push and trusting the process that, you know, you are being taken to the next level, to the next phase. And unfortunately, you know, there's a saying amongst the religious people that God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. You know, it may seem unfair when you get that tough battle. You understand? But you need to trust that you are able to handle it and manage it and overcome it. You understand? And it doesn't get easier from there, because once you overcome those, then there are other battles. They may seem easier because you come from a very difficult space, but it molds you to be able to deal with similar type problems in a better way. You know, so believe in yourself. Trust yourself, trust the process, and know that in the end you are going to win.
In the end, you're going to win.
Yeah.
I'm Googling the songs to that Babyface song, and we're going to put it up in the comments. Maybe somebody needs to hear it.
You know, it's life. You know, I like that song a lot. You know, it talks about bring back the simple days of yesterday, you know, when a man was a man and a friend was a friend. You know, it's that song. And there's a song, Soul Brothers, actually, that I also like a lot. I can't remember the name of the song, but in there they say, noma kunzima sodudula kuyobonakala la kugcina khona. You know, so it says kunamadolo ndoda, you know, and forge on and push. You know, there's a lot of tough things that you're going to encounter. Push anyway. You understand? So yeah.
And in the words of Aliyah, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again.
100%.
If at first you don't succeed, what's the worst that could happen? Yeah.
If I look at intombazana, you know, if I look at intombazana, ushela this one doesn't mean bonke bazokala. You know, so you don't lose your confidence because the one girl rejected you. You know.
I knew this was going to be a bit emotional. I didn't expect it to be this emotional because, you can't see it, but I'm a mess. I'm holding the tears because.
And I think it's a good thing, Tshidi, because it means, you know, you are going through all those emotions and you're feeling and seeing and understanding what, you know what, I've actually been through a lot. And I think as people, sometimes we don't take that time and reflect, you know, which actually, you know, and you know that time off and taking everything and think about it and reflect and be like, and pat yourself on the back and be like, you know what, you are actually a strong person, Tshidi Lethwane. You know, you've been through so much and you are still here. You know, you've experienced so much pain, so much this, so much that, and here you are. You know, and through that, you're actually shining brighter than you did back then. You know, so it's something that it's a good thing. I think that you become emotional when you think of these things. You remind me of when my youngest sister actually, she organized my mother's 60th birthday. I think 2 years or 3 years ago, you know, and I was asked to stand up and speak. You know, it was the first time I broke down and cried actually in my life, because, you know, at that point, then all the memories came back with you. You know, there was a time when I just started working, there was no electricity, okay, and every day I tell myself, I'm gonna wake up, light the primer, and build some manzi, and every day I woke up early, my mother was already up. You understand? Ultimately is the guys must trust themselves, and also I think they need to look at it in terms of if they don't help their siblings, who will? You understand? you are all equally responsible for each other. And unfortunately, because you are the oldest, you shoulder more of the responsibility. You understand? And it's tough, but you need to believe in yourself. You need to trust yourself, and you need to believe and trust in the process as well. That it will work out, and you need to believe that, because if you stop believing that it's going to work out, then you've lost half the journey. Because you're going to second guess everything you do, and in those tough situations, you shouldn't be second guessing yourself. You should be maybe having different options and trying to decide which option to take, but you shouldn't be second guessing yourself at all. Yeah. So yeah, that's it from my side.
So you're messing me up today. So you're saying that the worst thing that you can ever do for yourself or to yourself at that time is second guessing or doubting yourself.
If you look at it, sorry, okay,
no.
If you look
I was just let me keep read that, because this is heavy, so I'm just giving it all to you.
And also I'm sitting here saying this now, and it's basically based. I have the benefit of hindsight. I'm looking back and I'm thinking, if I'd done so here, it would have ended up differently. You understand? That's second guessing. Hence, I can say you shouldn't second guess yourself. And the other thing is, remember, let's say you are the eldest daughter or the eldest son in the house. You understand? Your parents, maybe they passed away, unfortunately, and you are there. You understand? And you have to take care of your siblings. You need to be. You need to be firm with yourself first. Okay, sharp. This is what we need to do. We need to eat this week, so this is the money for food. You understand? You shouldn't second guess yourself and be like, hey, what if amachita from your ploma? Those types of things. You need to be straight with yourself first. Okay, here's food to eat if you have that food. Here's food to go to and from school. Here's money for this. Here's money for this. Here's money for that. You understand? And you need to make peace with your heart, in your heart. In those fun and home and all of those things are gonna have to take a break. You understand? And because you are looking at you're looking at something more important. It's something bigger than having fun. It is nice to unwind and have fun, but it shouldn't come at the expense of you and the people that you're helping.
Sure. I think now I'm emotional again. Well, when have I not been emotional today? But mostly it's because, sometimes when you look at your life and you think, damn, I was such a late bloomer. Or damn, or feel like you lived your life almost as catching up with things, catching up with trends, and you like, why didn't I get to do that? Or why didn't, all of those stuff. But as you're sitting here and saying all of these things, you've just helped me appreciate me more, if that makes sense. You've just helped me realize, Wuti, I don't want to use the word strong, because in the week I was having a conversation with one of the ladies in my life and saying, Arkona, Matsidi, so I'm tired of being strong. I'm tired of being imbokoto, because many times in my life I've been strong and I know what being strong is like, and I don't want that. I want to be allowed to be gentle. I want to be allowed to be an egg, and I want to be allowed to ugutetema, and for once have somebody take care of me, because all my life I've always been taking care of people, So thank you for that, Uguti. It's in a way reassuring, lack of a better word, and in a way comforting to know, Uguti, you've done it, you've done well, and you've been so hard on yourself, and yet you've done so much, And so that's why maybe I'm emotional, because maybe this is that word that I needed to hear, and to say, what if, I remember recently or whenever I was having a conversation with a colleague, and then I've never been inside a nightclub, or I didn't go, your league clubs and whatever, those that were fashionable in our time, or they ninning okay, Kavela Yona is because I never just didn't like it, you know. But also I'm thinking, or maybe I didn't buy a Kavela because I had more important things to buy, you know, or I didn't go to the nightlife nightclub life scene, whatever, because that money was allocated somewhere else and it wasn't money that I could just splash out in one night or in one evening. So thank you for that. And yeah, I guess we both needed this. We both needed this in order to deal or to accept, or I don't even know the right words, but uguba sibe at peace with it, to say, Guti, you were a deputy parent or you are still a deputy parent, and absolutely nothing wrong with it. In fact, you've been such a blessing because you are a deputy parent. And well done, Siseko. Well done. Like, well done you for taking that decision and taking it upon yourself. Ukuthi uzayenza noma kunetha noma kunjani, and not waiting for umama to say, awuboni ngiyasindwa, why are you not helping, you know? And I feel like, we almost like, okay, at the hour. And I feel like there's just so much more that we could get into, and so much more that we still haven't touched. And I'm just going to say, today, this is going to be our part 1. We're going to end here at part 1, because if we start something else, we're not going to be able to finish it because of, the time. But this is definitely our part 1, and we are coming back with part 2 because there is so much more that we need to talk about and so much more that we need to tap into. So I want you to say now in front of these people that you are coming back. I just say, Guti, this was an intro, right? An intro to say, these are some of the things that we don't talk about. These are some of the things that we go through and we don't talk about, or we never given a platform to share. And when we eventually do, these are the things that happen. You know? And that doesn't happen very often, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think, we're going to talk about it now off air to say, when are you coming back? And I think next week would be the right time. Uguti, we started it today. Next week, we are continuing on it, Uguti, so that when it's still fresh in everyone's minds to say we started this, and then we are going to continue with it. So with that, you've just made a commitment to which you're coming back next week. So what is your parting words for this week while they wait for you for Zizo Chigizindo?
My parting words are the first, the like introductory, not a verse, it's just a line in that song, Soul Brothers Ben Kumangai uthi begezela ni majuda sekuseduze phambili, so bantakwethu, it gets really tough as a deputy parent, kodwa kuyafuneka ukunyamezela, and ube nala end view yoba ndifuna ukufikela laphi, and that will help you through a lot.
I feel like that's short. For a man of many words, that's short.
No, and it's in the Abuya Sakure.
It is, Angela. You're showing shortly. Next week, Buyayo, this is what we're going to talk about.
Yes.
So, yeah, man. My eyes are shiny. I think after this, I'm just going to take time and just take it all in, because, wow, you messed with me tonight. You really messed with me. And you're wearing glasses, so I can't see your eyes. Mina, my eyes are just here. You can see.
No, my eyes are still sharp.
Yours are still sharp. So, but even if you were not, we wouldn't gonna see that. But Enkosi Puti. Oh, this is me butchering Xhosa the way you butcher Sepedi. Enkosi for being a friend of Men Up, and always yay kushubile, you always raise your hand and say, anytime I'm gonna come through. And this is what he says. It's like, I'll do anything for Men Up, anything, anywhere, anytime, just call me up and I'll come. And he always does. Shem, so Nkosi, thank you so much. And uThixo akubusise. I don't butcher. Ndasazi ndasithethe isiXhosa ke ngoku. Modimo a ho etse hantle, and mo unkile nteng a oketse. May everything that you have done or taken out from your pocket to be a deputy parent come back to you, not even tenfold, but 100-fold. And may Modimo go etsa hantle, man. You're one of those people that I would like to see prosper. When we chat, I always say that day is coming. I think may it come sooner than we thought it would. May the heavens open doors for you. And yeah, man, we deserve it after all these years of deputy parenting. We deserve it, man. And yeah, we'll always have a soft spot for you here on Men Up. This is me trying not to cry. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for availing yourself. And let you get back to your teenager. One of these days, we're going to meet the teenager. We're going to have a special.
Yeah, I'll bring you along.
We know so much about fencing, but we've never met fencing. But yeah, Nkosi. And yeah, we're going to, those lyrics that we are searching for, we're going to tap them in. And we shall see you again next week. So I want you to sign us out. You are the presenter now, I'm your guest. Sign us out.
Ndibulele man for elithuba loba ndizokwazi to share my story, with people and help encourage other people out there, and let them know that they are not alone, and that as tough as the world is, it is also you are also able to succeed in that toughness. You just need to believe in yourself that much and trust in the process. And where there's people around you, I don't want to say use them, but like
make use of them.
Make use of the help and the support systems around you. It does help. It does help to have someone to talk to, because this deputy parent journey sometimes can get very emotionally heavy. So having people and friends that you can talk to without judgment and that can keep you honest as well is a blessing. If you do, please make use of them. And with that, ndithanda ukuthi ndinithanda nonke emakhaya.
I was waiting for that. Thank you. See you next week.